Hello, and welcome to another video. Last time we talked about how we're leveling up against the enemy in a fight, and this time I guess we're going to try to talk more about how we choose the fights themselves, and then how we can win them. So I talked about this a little bit before, where we have something known as conditions. So for each fight that we take, there is a way to win it, I suppose, though it's not always dependent completely on us, and we're going to play on like a gold MMR account today, I think. I think this account should be like gold MMR. Because what I'm going to be trying to do is show you the fights which are winnable, and then I'm going to like, I don't know, sell my items or something, and then we're gonna like just keep doing that until we either win or lose. Like it doesn't really matter if we win or lose, but it's just about showing you how you can take fights, kind of. And I wanted to do it lower elo this time because a lot of you are probably lower elo, I suppose. Yes, that is the average in League of Legends, like silver, gold, I don't know. So when you get into game, right, you first of all are pretty much even with the enemy, right? I mean, you're even in gold, but obviously there's a team comp difference, a player difference, whatever. So we can say we're pretty much even. At that point, for you to win fights against the enemy, there is some kind of a condition. So say that you are playing against a champion like Kindred, right? What is the condition for me to win a fight against a Kindred as an Evelynn? So it would be very favorable for me if the fight starts from melee, right? That's like pretty good. If she doesn't have W, that would be really amazing, right? As well. If she was lower HP, that would be amazing as well, right? So those things can kind of be conditions which can trigger a win or a winning fight for me. And then depending on which conditions are present in the current fight, then that kind of changes how I should take the fight, how I can take the fight, and how the fight becomes winnable. Wait, what route am I going this? Okay, so first champion enemy, right? Ezreal. How do we fight an Ezreal? So how does he win against us, and how do we win against him? If I'm Evelynn, then usually just Eing into Ezreal seems pretty fine, right? Charming him is pretty good as well. The main issue there is that he has two flashes, kind of, because E and flash, right? If he doesn't have flash, so if I time that, that's already a lot easier, right? And if I open up by using my E or something, and then he E's it, and then I can still Rocket Belt, then I will always catch up to him. So that's like one thing. But most people won't really do that. Most people, the way that they open against something like Ezreal is Rocket Belt and then E. And then when you already use both of those, he uses E, and then you're like, well, how do I get to him, right? Because the issue is, you have two choices, right? You can either Rocket Belt into him, and then you can spam your Qs and not use your E, and you try to make your E follow his E, in which case you'll easily stick to him. Or you can try to get to him, and then E him, and then Rocket Belt, right? And if he E's after your E, that's fine. If he E's before your E, that's also fine, because then you already know where he is, and you can Rocket Belt towards him before the E, and then you can E him, right? So it just makes the fight a lot better for you if you actually hold the E. Also, my team comp is horrible. Why do you have AP top, AP mid? A bit of trolling. A bit of trolling. And I play against a tank. CBA. It's fine. Okay, next champ. How do I win against Zac, right? Well, if I try to engage him, he will just E away, right? I probably have to open with W, but the problem is you can't really force on that champ. You have to predict where he's gonna jump, because if you don't, then... okay, silver goal. Okay, around what MMR expected. If you don't predict where he's gonna jump, then he can also jump, or well, let go of the jump before your charm finishes, and then you can't really CC him. So it just doesn't work. Can you really do anything if he engages first? Not really, right? Like, there isn't really too much to do. That champ is kind of just like, you charm him, and then you just try to do your damage as best as you can, and you try to have your E not get broken. This is the issue though, like if you want to kill a champ like that, you have to have a lot of stats on him, or he has to get low, or he has to like jump in or something like that, right? So there are still conditions how you can win. The question is just how difficult are the conditions and how much do they depend on you. Against something like Ezreal, like I said before, unless he has Maw or like a really strong enchanter protecting him or some bullshit like that, I don't know, then the fight is largely in your hands whenever he is not under tower or something. Like, basically, if he is in an okay spot for you to kill, then you will have a lot of impact. While against something like Zac, you will not have so much impact. Then you have Vayne, that's like kind of the middle ground, so pretty good that they picked that. So something like Vayne, it's gonna be a situation where until you buy something like Banshee, it's kind of doable for both of you. The thing is, the Condemn and your E interaction is a bit buggy. So what ends up happening is when you cast your E and she casts Condemn, I don't know, like half the time it just follows anyway. Like you get E'd away by her, and then your E just casts on her anyway and just like dashes back to her, which is really weird, but okay. But if that wasn't the case and it wasn't bugged like that, right. Right, it's Syndra typing, she'll help me counter jungle. See there. If that wasn't the case, then what you would have to do is W her and then try to Q her from range and open with that, right? So that's like the main way. But then once you get something like Banshees, then suddenly you're able to ignore her E. And when you can ignore her E, if you're fed enough to actually do damage like that, then you just stat check her, right? So this suddenly becomes really favorable for you. Like against Ezreal, there isn't really an item that makes it much more favorable, right? And against Zac. But against something like Vayne, there is. So these champions have different conditions how you can kill them. We can also say Orianna, okay. So let's say Orianna. What do we really do against Ori? Well, the problem with Ori is we just get spaced, right? So if she has Phase Rush, like this guy does, then what she can do is she can cast a few spells, and she can run away from us, and then we can't really reach her. And she has a slow, she has her ult to CC us, and suddenly it's a bit questionable, right? What we do. So largely, it becomes a question of, can we actually catch her out in a way where she can't kite us, right? And that's the case against a lot of mages. Also, excuse me, I'm like talking, so I have no clue how I'm clearing. If I'm clearing normally or not. I have no fucking clue. Not even looking at it. So you look at your lanes a little bit and you're like, okay, well, what is a fight I can like take, right? Can I fight the enemy jungler right now? Well, it's Zac, so not really, right? Can I fight the enemy bot lane? Well, no, they're too close to tower, right? Can I fight the enemy mid lane? No, he's too close to tower, right? Could I fight the enemy top laner? Well, no, he's kind of too high HP and he has ghosts, so it's just like, well, there's no point fighting anyone right now, right? Like, you have to recognize when is there a point in me fighting someone. Like right now, those two, way too close to tower and way too high HP. If people are close to tower, they need to either be low HP or your bot lane needs to be like really strong or something. When bot lane isn't that strong, you just like straight up dive against like basically full HP. What is this supposed to be? There isn't really anything to invade here. I don't know what she's pinging, but okay. I just want to get some vision. Like this. So is there any point doing anything? Well, nothing to really do here, right? Like, what am I gonna do with this? Or this? So we just space. Very simple, right? Like, it's like, is there something to do? No? Well, then just don't do anything, right? Like, a lot of people feel really forced to do something, but if there's nothing to do, then just don't do anything. Like, I can't fight enemy jungle, and I can't gank anything, so I just won't do anything. It's that simple. There's really no need to make it overcomplicated or something. Like this. Like, what am I gonna do with this? Maybe I can gank this. That guy has a bit low mana, but I can try. Why not? What do I have to lose, really, by ganking this? Oh, and now, what is my condition to win this? Well, I just have to not let her escape. So I just walk to the place where it's like the least likely for her to kill my laner, and the most likely for me to get on her, right? To use both sums, and I'm chilling. Maybe I should have helped him push. I thought he had a bit more mana. It's kind of my bad. Maybe he wasted his spells for no reason though. But I think he crashed in time anyway, so I don't care. Actually, I think it's fine this way. So Zac should be bot lane now, since like you basically know where the enemy jungler is by just what he didn't do, right? So he didn't show up anywhere, and he didn't like do anything here. So like he should just go bot lane now, right? But the problem is, like, in low elo, this doesn't really work because they sometimes just do nothing, you know? Like, this Zac, this game, until now, he just does nothing, right? So that's, like, the issue that you have there. And then you just full clear. And then, so he was bot side. Right? Because if he wasn't bot side, then most likely he would go top lane and just, like, try to do something to Gragas for no reason. Right? And now, more than a level up for just no reason. I don't know why. Damn. Okay, it was a level. And now it's like less than a level. This is fine. Nothing to really do. Like, I can't really fight this, right? He's just pushing. And these two base, so I guess we're gonna do Dragon. For whatever reason. It's like a stop sign. If this was like a different jungler in enemy team, you could maybe try to invade. Depends, really. You have to be stronger than enemy jungler, that's the issue. Or they have to be low HP. Because it's pre-6. But, still could work. So Zac is topside, right? Nothing to really worry about here. Got level 6 from Dragon. That's pretty nice. Top lane is still fighting. So top lane seems like the best lane to get kills in right now, right? Oh, look. This guy's ganking mid lane, so let's go fight this. So how do we win this? We have to focus on Orianna, right? Because we can't really kill Zac. So let's flash on Ori to make sure that we kill her. Then we can finish up the Zac somehow. So just ult him so he doesn't get to E at any point. Position so that your thing hits multiple blobs, I guess. No, I don't know. Do I just sell my items or what? I mean, honestly, these champs I'm not even stronger than, even if I don't sell my items or whatever. Not that strong against them, even if I don't sell them, so I'll sell them later, maybe. I guess we can sell them at, like, I don't know. Maybe I'll just play, like, I don't know. I'll get, like, one item, and then I'll play, like, 2k gold challenge, so I never, like, leave base with less than 2k gold, I suppose. Or something. That sounds reasonable, I suppose. Like, can I fight this? Well, kind of not, but what I can fight is, like, this top side, right? Because his camp is spawning. I can, like, take his camp, then I can maybe fight him if I want, right? That could work. And we know his camp is spawning because he started the bot side, right? And we can literally see that on the map. But since this guy's like pushing up a bit and he only has a regular ward, we could just gank this. How do we win this? Well, we have to charm and not get eat by her. But we got eat, so we don't win, right? See? Very simple. If you misplay, it just doesn't work. But what's the problem? Like, we just don't wait long enough. But now she's dead anyway. Oh, well, not if I miss my Q like that. Well, blows. That's fine. Basically, patience is really important in these champs, right? So if you're not patient, then stuff like this happens. Like this guy's here, right? And he's just gonna jump on my laner. So how do we win this? Well, we need... Well, he doesn't have Aftershock, right? But we need his spells to be down. Because we need him to not just instantly knock us away and shit. So then his spells were down, so suddenly he is really killable, right? But if I went when his spells aren't down yet, then there's no chance I'm ever killing him. If he didn't flash away, then he just dies though, because he had no spells now. And then we're gonna do this camp. Then we probably just contest the Herald, because he's probably on it, or he's doing Scuttle. Either way, no real reason to let him play. Okay, he's not doing anything, apparently. But top lane is like really free, right? Because she has no sums now, like we know. Oh, she used every summoner in the game. Why don't we kill her? So against Vayne, also what you can do is you can let her eat you, but you just position in a way where you get pushed like to the way you want to be, right? And if you do that, then she can't really do much about it. Those are like basically the two ways to do it. What the fuck? All this, right? We just get kited. Because we're not in this at the start of the fight. But now she has no phase rush, right? So the way we lose is we get kited, right? But then she used flash, so she's at range again, so she's too far. So we do get kited. We won't die to her because she doesn't have enough damage. So stat check, but we won't kill her either because she's too far. So how do we kill Ezreal? We need to be in a position where we can hit him after his E, right? So what do we do? Maybe we W him and then we go here, right? Then boom. You see? Like, we have to be able to hit him after he uses his E. Because if we don't have the ability to hit him after his E, then, well, he will just E away, right? Like, it makes sense. Like, what would you do if you were the enemy champion? If I was Ezreal, I would E away. I mean, I wouldn't E like that because I'm not bad at Ezreal, but... You know, the point is the same. We can have my bot lane force him into tower, and then try to do that anyway. Right? Though that could obviously be made a lot more awkward by the enemy Ezreal than it was right now. But it's about showing examples, I suppose. Yeah, I think we can do like 2k gold challenge, I suppose. So I just won't spend like 2k gold. I'll just play with tax like that, I suppose. That seems the most fair. But then how do we win against this? Oh well, same shit, right? Like, just don't get kited, but can we just go on her? Well, no, we need our laner to help us, because how do we resist? Oh, well. If Yuumi gets CC, then she just dies, but might Sentry kill it without me. Rude. But then this guy failed spacing, right? So we get to chunk him. But see, still, phase rush. This is what I mean. Like, you can't really get on him until he uses some stuff, or you charm him, or he gets CC'd. That's like the condition for killing him. Or well, I should say there's a condition to win the fight, and then there's a condition to kill the enemy, right? And those are a bit different. Because you can win the fight without killing the enemy, and you can also kill the enemy without winning the fight. Sounds a bit contradictory, but I swear it's not. If you, for example, get the enemy camp and get their flash, you won the fight. If you use no sums, right? The fuck? Okay. That's funny. I see. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that one. Okay, just schizo. And honestly, against these champs that you can't like perma invade, you might as well just do the dragons. Like, why not? I guess, I suppose. I said don't do dragons before because you can learn how to carry like this, but I mean, you can do the objectives as well if you really want to. So how do we win against this? We just wait for Syndra to come. Tindera to come. But they disengaged. Unlucky. How did my Gragas die? What did he die to? So confused. Honestly, I didn't even notice he died. I was talking and I was like, yeah, it's fine, my Gragas will help me. I see. So as I was saying, objectives are like pretty chill to do because it just makes the game easier to win. I think it's pretty good to learn how to carry without them though. It's also not too difficult as Evelyn, but it's fine. Just make sure you don't like grief yourself by doing the objectives, I suppose. If you're missing any kind of play for an objective, that's just like not good, honestly. Like if you miss invades against squishy champs for objectives, that's just bad. And you're missing like 10 camps to do an objective, that's also kind of just bad, you know? Like right now, there's surely a more useful thing I could have done, right? Than doing these camps, but I just don't care. I'll just get level 11 and then base. And why am I basing? Oh, I don't really feel like spending my gold, so I'll just buy Medjay and not spend any of the other gold. Because if I spend my gold, then I'll just one-shot everything, and it won't be interesting at all. I already do a lot of damage, but with this amount of damage, it's still like acceptable. But if I buy items properly, then it's just boring. So, how do we kill this guy? We have to slow. We got CC. Just chill, play slow. Like a lot of people just instantly ult and just waste it for no reason, you know? Like, why would you risk missing your ult? If you slow the enemy and your laner has CC, then I mean I could have pinged as well. I should have pinged before I did that, but if you slow the enemy and then your laner has CC, your laner hits them with CC, and then suddenly, oh, enemy CC, free kill. Then just bait for Pyke. Oh. Not bad. Should have given him vision of the Ezreal. Like now I have every objective in the game, right? I have a lot of farm, kills. I'm just chilling, right? Why not? But my laners are pretty good this game, sadly. I was hoping I would have bad laners. So then this guy, how does he win? Kites us. But he can't really kite us when we have this much movement speed. It just doesn't work. Because he gets charmed whenever he does anything. He has to like predict where we are, then Q it and ult it. Like he has to do a good Q ult. And okay, let's go for Vayne, I guess, since it's the easiest to show on. So how do you play against this, right? Like right now, she has like a positional advantage, let's say, because she can play around division. So we need our ult. That's the first thing. Because if we can't like start with charm, then we could get a bit fucked. And she could be in this bush still, but she's not, so apparently just based. And okay, that's a bit boring. We didn't get to fight her. Unlucky. So, we can fight, I don't know. Who would be the most interesting to fight here? Zac, I suppose, is the most interesting to fight. I could just base and buy like straight up Providence, but I'm not gonna do it. I think I'll just play like 4k gold. I don't know. I think I just won't buy items until the game ends. I think that's the only way it's interesting. I just want to make the stats make like the most sense compared to like what you should have usually if you just play normal. You're not like smurfing 7 trillion LP. So how do we kill this guy? We have to charm him, right? And we have to see where he goes, and then we have to charm him where he will be, right? So at the end of his jump is where we have to charm. This is like really good. Oh. Lacking a little bit of damage. You would do enough damage though if you played normally and bought items. Because it's really not hard to have above what I had there. Like I had 18 stack Medjay, and I had this shit. Like you could have 10 stack Medjay. Actually, you could have no Medjay. You could have Dark Seal and just like Mythic. And it's really not hard to have Dark Seal and Mythic at 18 minutes. And you would kill him there. But yeah, that's kind of the idea here with this champion, right? So I need to get into him so that I can then Q him after he jumps. I mean, this champ, just make sure he doesn't have anywhere to E away, right? He had nowhere to E away, so chilling. It's just about Okay, so what can the enemy do to respond to my play or whatever, right? Like, what can I do here? Nothing really, right? I don't have ult. If I go in, I will die. Like, how will I live if I go in, right? Like, Zac will CC me. I won't one-shot anyone. I could help my teammates, but I don't know. It's just my teammates winning the fight. But why would I take this fight, right? Like, it just makes zero sense. I have soul in 3 minutes, so I'm just chilling. You can play like farm. You can play more passive Evelynn than what I showed before, where I perma-invaded. I think perma-invading is better for winning every single game, but I think this style is like easier to play. You can just like farm, you can like take non-risky fights, I suppose, and you can like take objectives. And that's also a way to play. You can play like that if you want. It's up to you really what makes most sense to you. But this game, I think, is a fine showcase of how you really want to look at what the enemy wants to do rather than what you want to do, right? Like, what do I want to do? I just want to Q and E the enemy and then ult them and kill them, no? Like, I would love to just QE and ult, right? Wow, I love to QE and ult, but even though this guy is 0-7 and I have 25 stack Magi, I still barely kill them. Right? I mean, obviously I'm doing like fucking 10k gold challenge here, but you know what? I'll just sell my items as well, these ones, so that I have actual 10k gold challenge. So we just play Magi and Sorks. Sounds fun. Honestly, sounds pretty fun. So now we have 240 AP at 21 minutes. This is like pretty much normal as well, that's the funny thing. It's actually low, kinda. So we can also do it like this, right? So we slow him. If we have the damage and the HP, I suppose. That's like another way to play these fights, right? Against these types of champions. You can open with a slow, and then they can't really escape you after the... What's it called? After the mobility spell. So, Azir, Ezreal, and so on. My Syndra really wants to win, I think. I like how he didn't notice that I'm not buying items. It's kind of funny. Should I ping it? Maybe, actually. I actually want to see its reaction now. Nah, this guy's gonna be so mind blown. Wait, I need to tell him I'm collecting interest. Oh shit. I mean, there's nothing interesting here. Like, same thing with this guy, right? Like, if you slow these people, before they proc like Phase Rush or something, you can stick to them. And even with Phase Rush, see, you can stick to them with your E movement speed. That's why it's really important to get your win condition spell off first, right? Like, your E, your Rocket Belt, whatever, right? And to hold something for mobility after they use their mobility. So, I have to hold my E until she gets her Phase Rush proc, and then I can stick to her, right? Alternatively, you could have your Rocket Belt up, and if you use your dash, your movement speed, after she uses her Phase Rush, or this guy uses his E or whatever, then you will stick to them, right? And movement speed and dashes are like kind of the same team, right? It's just like how far the champion gets away from you. The only difference is how fast they get away from you, right? Like a Jhin will get equally far away from you as like a Zac eventually. But the question is just how fast will it be, kinda. That's like the main difference there. I don't know. Who do we kill now? Okay, let's kill Vayne since she has MR. So we have to walk into her, right? And try to get our farm up, right? And she like used the E and she has a Yumi as well. And I'm lacking damage, right? I mean, but the thing is, my teammates are close enough that me doing this is like good enough. But the thing is, if you just have damage items, then this works the same way, right? Why don't we just do it? Oh, no. Okay. If you have damage items and it works the same way as what I just did, right? And you just one-shot her solo, While if you have something like Banshee, then you don't need to do what I just did. You can just run at her, Rocket Belt into her, and then just QE ult like this, right? And if you do that, then you will just kill her. Because when you have Banshee, she can't E you away. Though obviously with Yuumi it would be a bit different because Yuumi can break my Banshee. But this is why fighting is a bit difficult for people to teach in League. Because there are so many examples of it, and the main patterns are a bit weird for people to explain. Because one of these patterns is like holding your Rocket Belt and your E for mobility or general escapes or movement speed or whatever, right? And that's a general theme that we saw from this champ, from this champ, from this champ, from this champ. Literally all of the enemy champs except Yuumi have this general theme, right? Where either they get movement speed or they get a dash, and that's what we have to play around. Because otherwise we won't kill them. This can't be negated by items, but we're not buying items right now, so we can't negate that. So right now I need to wait for my ult, because we're kind of playing as if we're from behind. As if we're really behind right now. I think this pretty much negates all of my kills. So I'm playing as if I'm like 0-0 or what? I don't know. Who knows, man? Who knows? It's kind of worse because I don't have Rocket Belt active, but it's fine. So who do we want to kill now? Who would be interesting? I mean, I can't kill Zac because he has too many stats. I guess we can like try to play a fight as if we're like behind. So how do we support our teammates in a fight like this, right? So the best things we can do right now are W Vayne or W Zac, right? Because if you do shit like this, you won't kill them, right? And then you're just stuck in the enemy. See? Like you're just stuck in the enemy and then you end up dying at some point. This is why you don't want to engage when you're like behind. Like people try to play like as an assassin, the way that I just did now, but it's just not correct because of what I just did. Like even if I kill the enemy, right? I mean, I got exhaust, that's like the only good thing there, but even if I kill this Orianna, like it doesn't really matter, right? What would really impact the game well is if I just W the Zac, and when he jumps in, like he can't CC my laners. If I W the Vayne and she can't deal damage, if I don't know, W the Ezreal and he can't like walk up and I just zone him, right? Like those things impact the fight. While something like me flashing in on Orianna and trying to kill the 0-10 mid laner doesn't really impact the fight, right? And in the worst case scenario, what I just did can happen, where I give up shutdown. I mean, if you're behind, you won't have a shutdown like I just did. But you can just die, you can achieve nothing, kill no one, you know? And it just does nothing. So, I hope that this gives you a little bit of insight into how you should approach fights on Evelynn, and in general as well, I suppose. But this gives you a little bit of an idea as to how you deal with mobility and tanky stuff and whatever. I mean, sadly, Zac had Conquer instead of Aftershock, so if he had Aftershock, then it's even a bit more difficult, and you try to play around his Aftershock as well, because if you combo into that, you just won't do that much damage. You can see I did like same damage as my mid laner and my ADC, even though he didn't spend gold. It's pretty funny. Yeah, that wraps up this video. So if you enjoyed the video, then like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.